is this?
Your call has been forwarded to an...
Face down, motherfucker! Come on! Show me your fucking hand! There you go.
What did you just do?
The heist was carefully planned. As a 4 security armored truck carried cash, a cement truck suddenly blocked the road. The robbers then used an excavator to lift and trap the vehicle. They cut through the doors and threw stun grenades to disable the guards. But they didn't notice that a young boy in a nearby car had witnessed it all. When the robbers saw the boy, they immediately told him to get out of the car. He was shaking with fear and tried to call his father, but no one answered. Scared, he had no choice but to follow their orders and lie flat on the ground while the robbers carried out bags of cash. Then, a security guard suddenly jumped in, tackling one of the robbers and pulling off his mask. The robber brutally killed all the security guards and the boy. Patrick Hill, the boy's father, watched his son's murder in horror. Filled with rage, he attacked the assailants but was shot down shortly after. Before losing consciousness, he saw the scarred face of the man who fired the gun and memorized it. Patrick survived by sheer luck but spent 3 months in the hospital recovering. When he was finally discharged, he made a decision. He applied for a job at the same security company where the massacre had happened. Rob, the company manager, and Terry discussed the armored truck heist, highlighting the tragic deaths of 2 security guards and a civilian. Even with the seriousness of the attack, the mastermind was still unknown. Rob told Patrick Hill that he could take the job left open by the victims, but only if he passed a series of weapons tests. Under Bullett's strict supervision, Patrick spent a grueling day doing drills. He just barely met the minimum requirements, but it was enough to earn his spot as a security guard. Patrick soon earned the nickname H from his coworkers and quickly got to know the rest of the team, including Hollow Bob and Dave. His first transport shift was calm and went smoothly. But the next day, everything changed. While H and Dave were on duty, an armed gang jammed their radio and stopped their truck. From a distance, the robbers aimed their weapons and shouted orders for H to load all the cash into a waiting pickup truck. A purposely let a bag of money fall from the truck, making it seem like an accident. When a robber stepped forward to grab it, H threw another bag at him, quickly drew his gun, and shot him in the head. He then spun around and fired with deadly accuracy, taking down the rest of the gang in seconds. Only the leader remained. Panicked, the leader ran, but H chased him, trapped him in a narrow alley, and finished him without hesitation. However, Terry did not approve of H's actions. As punishment, he reassigned H to a desk job for at least a month. But Faro's CEO Blake Hall saw things differently. He praised H's bravery and even suggested he deserved a promotion. To Blake, H hadn't just done his job, he had become a hero. Soon after, H was asked to review surveillance footage from the earlier armored truck heist to see if any of the attackers looked familiar. As H watched the footage, his eyes focused on one robber. He recognized him immediately but stayed calm, saying that none of the suspects looked familiar. Soon, it was revealed that 2 agents were secretly working for a mysterious figure called King, a shadowy mastermind, who believed H would unknowingly help him and his crew find the people behind the original heist. Meanwhile, the other security guards praised H for his bravery. He quietly said thank you and returned to his work. 3 months later, during a routine assignment, H and Bullet were forced to stop when a motorcycle suddenly swerved in front of their truck. Before they could react, a group of heavily armed gunmen surrounded them, ready to attack. But when H stepped out and showed his face, the gunmen froze. They clearly recognized him. Without saying a word, they backed off and returned to their base, leaving all the money untouched. Terry was shocked. Could they really have retreated just because of H? He was about to ask, but Blake quickly stopped him. Blake told H that he would now lead his own team, and to keep doing exactly what he had been doing. That night, H quietly entered the apartment of Dana, a fellow security guard. He found a hidden stash of cash and immediately began questioning her. To scare her into telling the truth, he fired a few warning shots, which terrified Dana. She admitted to taking money from a job a few months earlier. But H didn't stop there. He showed her 2 photos of her parents and gave a chilling warning about what would happen if she ever lied to him again. 5 months earlier, while on vacation in the United States with his son Doge, H got an unexpected call from Mike, a former crime boss and leader of the gang H had once left. Mike offered one last job, promising that H wouldn't have to take part directly and that there would be no danger. The task was simple. H only needed to stay about 1,000 yards away and drive to a spot near the docks where the heist would take place. While H was out buying food, his only job was to report the truck's movements to Mike. But then tragedy struck. He saw Doge killed right in front of him. H stayed unconscious for nearly 3 months. When he woke up, he was heartbroken to learn his son hadn't survived. He reunited with his ex-wife, Jane, who blamed him for Doe's death. Determined to find the truth, H confronted Mike and his crew, the people connected to the tragedy. Reluctantly, he agreed to work with them to track down those truly responsible. H dove into the criminal underworld, questioning gang after gang, until one finally named some brothers involved in the crime. Following the lead, H found a building where these men carried out violent acts. When they refused to give any useful information, H didn't hesitate to take them out. During the chaos, he noticed a security guard working there. Wasting no time, H told his assistant, Kirsty, to gather records, including background checks on the security staff and autopsy reports. After Dao's death, the true identities of the people behind the original heist slowly came to light. They were a group of former Afghanistan veterans, abandoned by American society, led by Jackson. His team included Carlos, Sam, Tom, Brad, and Jan, the man who killed Doge and shot H. The scene then moves to a lavish party hosted by Jackson, where the group talks about their plan to rob an armored truck, preparing for the bold heist that is about to happen. The crew began their plan for one last heist, stealing over $150 million. The money would be shared among the gang and their insider, who was revealed to be Bullet. Jackson and Tom spent weeks carefully planning every detail, but a sense of unease grew within the group because of Jan. His violent and reckless behavior threatened to ruin the entire operation. Despite concerns about Jan, Jackson was confident he would follow orders. The crew then went to Foro, where Bullet suddenly told that he was the mole, giving the gang important information about the armored trucks. Bullet quickly disabled the security cameras and joined his crew in an abandoned building. Meanwhile, Jackson's heavily armed team got into the truck after restraining H. The heist went off perfectly, without any problems. Panic hits one of the soldiers, and he presses the emergency button, causing chaos. Gunfire breaks out as the gang smashes the hideout's doors, killing anyone in their way. During the fight, a crew member is injured, but they quickly disable the alarm system. Soon after, the gates open, and the last man drives the pickup truck inside, ready to start loading the cash. As soon as the SWAT team is alerted, they take action. 8 minutes later, the police have blocked the entrance, and SWAT arrives on the scene. Amid the chaos, H grabs a gun from one of the attackers and shoots him in the leg. He rushes forward and chokes the man until he collapses. Wearing his bulletproof vest, H is unharmed and moves toward another robber who is loading cash into the truck. He orders the man to take off his helmet, but even when he sees it's not his son's killer, H shoots him anyway. Meanwhile, the rest of Jackson's crew has been captured by Dana and another guard, waiting to be taken to the police. H hesitates, losing valuable seconds. Dana gives him a gun, but as soon as he takes it, he unexpectedly fires, killing both guards in the hallway. Dave struggles to get up, and Terry is forced outside, where he is shot. Suddenly, H is caught in a violent one-on-one fight. Despite his injuries, he pushes through the pain and defeats his attacker. Jackson's men carry the wounded man toward the truck when H opens fire. Dave tries to stand but is immediately shot. Terry is forced out of cover. Suddenly, hears a clicking sound behind him. A bullet hits him, and for a moment he fears he's done for, but he quickly reloads and steels himself to keep fighting. Over the radio, Dave reports that the gunmen have retreated, yet as soon as Dave peeks out, bullets rain down on him. In that tense moment, H scans the scene and sees Jan, the man who killed Doge. They crash through the gate, smashing their armored truck into two police vehicles as SWAT and a helicopter give chase. With only 5 minutes to escape, they plan to use a secret tunnel unknown to the public. During the chaos, Jackson is injured, and H is shot in the neck. Jan quickly finishes H off before they are forced to leave him behind in the truck. John and Bullet then move the money down using an elevator, load it onto an ATV, and speed 3 miles to the rendezvous point, where a getaway car waits. When Bullet realizes Jan is the traitor, he quickly draws his gun to stop him. But Jan is faster. He shoots first, killing Bullet instantly. Jan escapes with the entire fortune, disappearing into the underground tunnel network without a trace. The police fail to block all the exits in time, letting him get away perfectly. Later, Jan sits in his apartment, admiring the stacks of cash, when suddenly his phone rings. A familiar voice speaks from behind him. Jan turns and sees H standing there, tossing him a copy of Doge's autopsy report. John reads the page. Gunshot wounds tore through Doge's liver, lungs, spleen, and heart. His eyes stop on a photo of Doge, and memories flood back. He silent stare as his son lay on the floor. Suddenly, a gunshot fires, sending searing pain through Jan's body. He screams, tormented by the desperate look in Doge's eyes in his final moments. H doesn't hesitate. Calm and relentless, he fires again, hitting Jan's spleen, and finally, his heart. Jan collapses, his body shaking before going completely still. Without saying a word, H quietly leaves the apartment where Agent Kim is waiting. Kim nods, confirming that the ordeal is over and the stolen money will be recovered. Saying nothing, H gets into another car where a man is waiting. The vehicle drives off, disappearing into the night.